Hello, and welcome to Weed and Grub.
I understand that you are done watching Chopped with me. I just don't know of another TV show. It's my SVU, Mary Jane.
I totally understand that. I understand the comfort that it brings you. I appreciate that for you. And I won't say that I'm entirely done with Chopped. I just don't want any more Chopped holiday content or Chopped children. What is it called?
Chopping children.
Chopping kids, chopped. What is it called?
It is truly called Chopped Junior.
Oh, Chopped Junior. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that they would name it Chopped Children because that would be some like weird fucking Grimm's fairy tale shit. But I think Chopped is great. I think Ted Allen hates children, but is otherwise
He's very uncomfortable around them.
He doesn't want to talk to them.
No.
I mean, in fairness, who does? But
Yeah.
he's like visibly uncomfortable on camera when he has to interact with the juniors.
I agree. I just think it's interesting because with our guest Ashley Ray today, who is deep in the TV game, and we have a great conversation about TV. I was very proud to not bring up Chopped once.
Okay.
But like HBO Max is going through this like decimation of their programming right now.
Yeah.
But Chopped holiday content is staying strong, and so I'm okay with it.
I mean, you can just put that on and do your Chopped marathon and run that shit in the background like I do with SVU, although I recently have turned to CSI. I've moved
Is that
away
the
from
sunglass
SVU.
dude?
Yes, David Caruso. Yes, the sunglasses dude. Exactly. He's either putting them on or taking them off while saying something snappy. And fuck, it's so good. There's a supercut of him doing it that's just so entertaining if you're really stoned and have 10 minutes where you just want to watch a guy do.
Producer Mark is like, yeah,
David Caruso, who left his high-paying job doing a great TV show to be a movie star and it didn't work out. And now where is he? We don't know. But, shout out, come on the show, David.
Yeah.
And that was a huge tangent. I'm sorry, I'm stoned and rambling.
It's great. I do like it. That's CSI.
Yes.
CSI Miami.
And then there's a Vegas version, which Ted Danson is on. And that one is just bulletproof. The Caruso Miami version is like retro sort of nostalgia for me. The Ted Danson one I think is even also just more recent. And that also has Elizabeth Shue on it.
I'm a massive Shue fan.
They have a huge budget, obviously, because these are like legit, like fucking, A-listers on this fucking weird CSI show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really make me think of the high benchmark that Ted Danson, Vincent D'Onofrio, David Caruso, and Chris Maloney have set for cop procedural dramas.
Yeah.
Like, they are fantastic leading men in those. And for me, the only other one would be Mariska. Like, she's the only one on the other side. But these men are interchangeable.
There are some other women leading some great cop shows. I used to love all of the women leading. Like, there used to be way more great women doing cop shows back before there was a backlash about women being on television at some point in the last 20 years. But like, Cagney and Lacey was a show that I fucking grew up with, which was like two female detectives. That was just like a show on the primetime network.
I have genuinely never heard of that. I would love to watch it up with you.
Oh, fuck yeah. It's the fucking greatest. Or like, like obviously Mariska is like, I think the next generation of that. But yeah, of the four of those, and so you said Maloney, Danson,
D'Onofrio,
and Caruso. Of those four, I think two are bad and two are good. Who do you think?
Well, you love Malone.
I love Maloney.
And you seem to love Caruso.
I sort of like nostalgically love Caruso.
Mark, we have never seen producer Mark's face, and he is more invested now than I've ever seen him in a conversation.
He's leaning in to see who the two good. Okay, so yeah, I love Maloney. I'm an unapologetic Maloney stan. I would do anything for him. I can't even stand the way he looks. It's crazy.
Yeah,
he can like just tighten his eyes a little bit, and layers upon layers,
and tighten his butt.
Oh,
great butt,
so good. And I'm sort of like an ironically, or not ironically, but like I like Caruso despite his cheesiness. It's not a hate watch, but it's definitely like, oh fuck, this is so fucking cheesy. So you've got Danson and D'Onofrio left,
and you don't like Danson and D'Onofrio.
No, I love Maloney.
Oh,
I'm not a big fan of Caruso, and of Danson and D'Onofrio. I
feel like
one.
you really hate D'Onofrio, and you really like Danson.
Yes.
Yeah.
D'Onofrio does like a bunch of sideways standing. He's always like standing sideways and he's like always tipped over at a weird angle to just like be weird for being weird's sake. And fuck, that guy is such a good actor.
He's amazing.
Full Metal Jacket. Fucking incredible.
Jurassic Park Raptors.
Men in Black. Where do you keep your dead? Like, he's fucking amazing in all of those, but I think he got that job in TV. He felt like he was better than it. And though he didn't bring his fucking A game to that show, in my opinion, I never liked his performance on that show. I think he's a great actor. But as a TV cop, no. I also feel like his female co-star, whose name I cannot remember, Catherine Irby, always looks kind of tired. And that to me is a sign that the person you're working across from is tiring.
Is exhausting, yeah.
So that's just my guess, is that he's kind of a lot to work with.
Well, goddamn. Welcome to Weed and Grub, everyone. What up, Mary Jane?
How's it going, Mike?
Great. Welcome to Weed and Grub. This is a podcast about comedy,
Cannabis,
culture,
cooking,
calling shit out,
and TV today.
Yeah.
A lot of
channels.
TV. Yeah, with our VIB Ashley Ray.
Fucking awesome.
So fun.
Wait, Mark, who's your stan?
Yeah, you like
male
D'Onofrio?
cop? D'Onofrio?
Yep. Oh, Caruso way at the bottom. Fucking D'Onofrio tops the whole game for you. Man, we're gonna have some shit to talk about. He's a fucking amazing actor. He's just not good on that show, and that's okay, man. Disagree. Okay.
So everyone check out our new podcast, Male Cops.
Yeah, ranking male cops and female cops. I mean, listen. I want to see Charlize Theron.
They just canceled her show that I love, though. The Nun. I can't remember the name of it. But I had recommended it to you. I watched it over the pandemic.
She had a TV show?
Yeah. Well, no, but it was a Netflix series. The action Netflix series that she was on. Oh, I can't remember the name of it.
It wasn't a series. It was just a movie. The one where there was the woman at the bottom of the sea?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a movie. And it was a one-off, and then there was going to be a sequel.
No, it was a 90-minute show.
It was a
that wasn't broken up.
It was a movie. It was an action film released on Netflix that I watched during the pandemic. I thought it was fucking great. And then they were going to make the sequel. And you saw the woman at the bottom of the ocean in that horrible thing who kept like waking up and drowning for hundreds of years.
Correct.
And that was going to be the sequel, and it was so scary.
Yeah.
And you're saying that got canceled?
My new character is guy who's never heard the word movie, and so he thinks everything's a TV show.
It's all a TV show.
Did you guys see that new Marvel TV show? It's 3.5 hours. You got to go see it in the theaters.
Great.
The TV theaters.
Also, just want to shout out while we're talking about women anchoring cop shows. Kira Sedgwick had a great TV cop show called The Closer that was like, I thought was really great. I don't know how much love there is out there for it, but it lasted for several seasons. So I guess people liked it. And it kind of like rode that boundary of lighthearted and also very fucked up and dark in a really interesting way. And it would switch back and forth. And I think Kira Sedgwick did such a great job like playing that, because she was very funny. She's a really great comedic actress. And she's also like a deeply sort of like empathetic sergeant.
Yeah.
Detective.
I'd love to see that. That sounds like a great show.
And her daughter, and with Kevin Bacon, was just the lead in Smile. So that dynasty's starting out there.
Damn right. Also a great TV show. Smile.
Bacon. Smile, great TV show that we saw at AMC Grove. Oh my God, we got to do a news story and get to our interview with Ashley Ray.
I would love to.
Okay.
Because it's actually a celebration of my home state, Missouri.
The Grub Gazette this week is brought to you by TSUMo Snacks. Check these guys out. They've been rocking with us all year. Thank you for sponsoring our podcast, Sumo. Go to sumosnacks.com to get a free unmedicated sample. And then anywhere in California, you can go and pick up a 100-milligram bag of these fucking savory snacks. They've got Snazzalos with Snoop, which are like spicy, delicious onion rings. They've got a bunch of other flavors. They just came out with a churros flavor for the holidays.
It's perfect for if you are visiting your family or your family is visiting, rip it open and pour open a bowl and leave it on the counter. It's also great for New Year's Eve parties, as long as you label that it's medicated for those chips.
I was just going to say, make sure you tell people.
But like, the holidays are all about the spread, right? Yeah. It's all about the spread on the table. So if you want to have some Sumo snacks on your table, spread them out.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. What's our news story?
Our news story, dun 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 dun. It was actually sent to me by my father.
Oh, nice.
Steve Glazer,
Hi,
who
Steve.
sent me a picture that I will post with this episode. St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
Yep.
The St. Louis newspaper of note says pot legalization takes effect in Missouri.
Hell yeah.
Hell yes. You can now stroll around with 3 ounces or less as long as you're 21 or over in Missouri. Big fucking deal.
It is a big fucking deal. Amendment 3 was passed by voters this past election, and I wrote a little bit about it. The best part about the legalization aspect of it for reform advocates is that there's like criminal justice reform baked into this. So in addition to in addition to being able to carry around your 3 ounces legally, they're actively going to work to get people out of prison who have criminal convictions for weed offenses. And it's just like the whole thing is, as far as legalization initiatives go, reform advocates are like, this one's pretty good. Like they did better than a lot of the other places.
So as we learn which states have done it right and which states have bunked it up,
right.
Missouri is taking a lot of the good from a lot of other different states and implementing it for their own legalization process.
Yeah, like there was there were initiatives in South and North Dakota that didn't pass, and neither of them had like addressed reform at all. And a bunch of advocates were like, yeah, of course people didn't pass it because the people that they know have been affected aren't going to benefit, from getting out of prison or anything. So Missouri, good on you for like doing it. We hope you're doing it right.
Well, especially at the same time as that one congressperson, Vicky Hartzler, was crying about same-sex marriage on camera. And then Congress was like, we're still passing that. Fuck your tears. So I'm very proud that it feels like in a lot of areas, Missouri has its heart in the right place for people in Missouri.
Yeah. And like they're sticking it to Josh Hawley a little bit with this. Like he was so vocal about being against this measure. And so now that it's passed, you can fucking suck it, Holly.
Mm-hmm.
Go suck an egg.
Suck an egg or a bowl and
then
chill
run
out.
away like a little bitch.
Great
news story.
You'd be a good congressperson.
Listen, never. I mean, I'm so excited though. There's a new Gen Z congressperson named Maxwell Frost, 25 years old, just coming into Congress, already tweeting about how he can't get a fucking apartment in DC because his credit is bad because in running for Congress, he had to put it all on credit because became his full-time job. And he's just being real about it. And he's like, yo, getting into Congress is not for people who are like real people. You have to be rich to do this. And he's just being really transparent and awesome about it. And he also just seems like a really legitimately interesting, amazing person with a lot of cool progressive policies. And it's just fucking exciting. He's 25 years old.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I say so much about how I just need old people to get out of Congress because they're so if you're rich, you're out of touch.
Right.
2, if you're rich and old, you're super out of touch.
Yeah.
So having a 25-year-old who can't get an apartment I can't think of anything more in touch with where we are as a fucking like society.
That's so well said. I know you and I used to fight, maybe even on here at the beginning of this podcast where I would like accuse you of being ageist and stuff. And I have to say I've come all the way to the other side since you and I met. And yeah, it's exhausting to have ancient people running everything, ancient people with money. So yeah. Shout out. And thank you for helping me evolve my opinion on that, Mike.
I'm glad to have done that.
Yeah.
Because it didn't work as a bit, but if I can actually change your mind, great.
Hated it as a joke. Loved it as a thinking point. You know me. Are we ready to get to our interview with Ashley Ray?
We must. It's such a good hang. I like her so much.
She's so fucking cool. She's a comedian. She's a writer. She's a cultural critic. She knows everything there is to know about television. She's fucking cool. She has a great podcast. We get into all of it in this very fun hang.
Yeah. So without further ado, here is our VIB, our very important bud, our guest,
Ashley Ray.
Well, we started. What tattoo
That's
would you
one
get
way.
for money? What company or brand or product would you consider?
Fruit roll-ups.
Ooh, that'd be good. Like across the forearm?
Yeah, fruit roll-up. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because they're delicious. But it's a silly thing to spend money on, right? You feel dumb when you're like, I'm buying fruit roll-ups. Like, am I a child? But they're delicious, and I'm never upset when I have them.
Was that your
Totally.
after-school snack?
Yeah.
When
yeah.
you were, yeah.
Loved a fruit roll-up. Loved them on the playground. They're just so fun. Just uncurling it. It feels like a treat that's going to go on forever.
Mm-hmm. Is the ones that you got punch-out shapes as well, like an astronaut and a rocket ship and a moon, and you could kind of like pull apart the shapes?
Okay, those are fruit roll-ups. I mean fruit by the foot.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
by the foot.
Yeah.
Yo, so you could sell the tattoo ad per inch.
Per inch. Yeah. I could get a whole one on my leg. Like
Yeah.
roll it out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of possibilities with this. Yeah.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
think
And
that's
actually,
smart.
surprisingly enough, do not like fruit roll-ups. Fruit by the foot, amazing. Fruit roll-ups, don't like it. Too sticky. I don't know why. It's the exact, but no, can't get into it.
Have you had the fruit leather, the weed fruit leather, fruit slabs?
Yes. I actually think I have some in my purse right now. I'm not even joking. I did a show and someone gave me a bunch of them. I don't like them.
All right.
I don't know. It just
You're not a fan
texture
of
was
sticky.
weird. Yeah. the texture was weird.
Yeah.
And so now I just have a bunch of them like in my purse and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this.
In a pinch.
Yeah, if I need it,
It's like emergency weed.
it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
but that's how I felt when like those breath strips were all the rage.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fuck
what?
that noise, right?
So into that.
Like weed breath strips,
Yeah,
you mean?
weed breath. Oh, sorry, weed breath strips. Yeah.
Do you mean like not the kin slips?
No, it was like I don't know. Yeah, like
Listerine
those
and
Listerine
stuff.
strips type things where you put it like under your tongue and let it melt.
Right.
But it was with weed,
Mm.
and then also it was like around the time of weed sprays. I
Yeah.
don't know why that like was so popular.
There was a weed spray, a tincture called Jumbo that I really did like. That was kind of like cinnamony or peppermint. I don't remember, but it was really good, and it like worked fucking fast. It was great.
That sounds good.
And I did try weed eye drops one time at a cannabis cup in Vancouver. And,
How was that?
Highly unpleasant.
Yeah, that doesn't
Awful.
sound enjoyable.
No, hated it.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, my eyes felt weird.
Everything doesn't need weed in it.
Right.
Like eye drops.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if like the time to use eye drops is when you're like having trouble seeing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right.
like the
So why
idea of
would-
like scrambling around.
I feel like that's not helping.
I feel like the idea, if I correctly remember the pitch, was that it was like the weed can help with glaucoma. And so this was like a more direct application into the eye, potentially for
Okay.
people who had glaucoma. I don't know the science behind it.
I don't know that I've ever heard like that weed helps like I always thought it helped the symptoms.
Right.
Not like, douse your eyes with weed and
Yeah.
somehow that helps.
Fill your eyes with medical
Yeah.
weed. No.
That's awful.
But hey, maybe we don't know because we've never tried.
Yeah. You got to try.
Yeah, try.
How high did you get? Because I feel
Yeah.
like one drop. I don't know.
Yeah, because I feel like it go right to your bloodstream.
yeah.
Yeah, I just felt like my eyes felt bulgy and like like my eyes felt high, and then I just felt kind of like a body stone, and I was like at an event and I was having to drive a golf cart around, so the whole thing just felt like kind of deeply unsafe because I was like, my vision is altered, my space-time reality feels kind of fucked up. I don't know, it wasn't great. Yeah, not a great idea.
I got a weed lube from Denver
Ooh.
that I thought would be a good time. I was like, oh, weed lube, this makes sense to me. So like I was like, it not like feels good, body high. It was the weirdest thing I've ever used. I can't even really explain. It was like instead of feeling like a body high, it just made it go like your genitals go numb.
Oh whoa.
Like
Wow. Producer Mark just put a sign up that says hell yeah.
Yeah. It was like I want to say it was like 500 milligrams or something, and it just made it all feel numb, and you were just kind of like, oh, I don't like if you just put your genitals in snow or something.
Weird.
Yeah.
I used a suppository that was fucking great for like, period pain.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't know about the like, you don't
I
want
don't
your
want my-
genitals to go numb if you're
Yeah.
try to hook up. I guess unless you're trying to last, like maybe it would be
Last
good
forever.
for, lasting longer.
But it just I wasn't expecting that. I thought it'd be more like I don't know, a genital couch lock.
yeah.
Like,
Tingly.
yeah, like to comfy, like when your eyes feel kind of heavy, but you're still there. But no,
Yeah.
it was straight up just like I don't feel anything anymore. Like it's,
Oh no.
Yeah, so
I know you're a writer because you just pulled out genital couch lock.
thank you.
100%.
Yes, that's why they pay me the big money to write the words.
I mean, this is a fantastic way to get started with you, our fabulous guest today,
Yeah.
Ashley Ray.
Hey,
Hi. This is fucking great.
I'm so happy to be here.
Can I say one last thing about the genital thing?
Oh yeah.
Great, because I remember using numbing condoms in college so that I could
Oh.
last like all fucking night. And then I realized what a fucking bummer that was because it just never felt good. It was just
Yeah.
like time. It was duration instead of pleasure.
Mhm.
And so it was fucking whack. So I can only imagine like wondering when is this high going to wear off my pussy
Yeah.
so that I can
Can
actually enjoy myself.
Enjoy it. It just kind of feels continuous. And I can see, I guess, like how a guy could be like, oh, it's gonna help me last longer because I don't feel anything. But yeah, I just feel like it was very. When are we getting to the end of this?
Yeah.
I feel like
We making this happen.
young male lovers, though, specifically, are the ones who need to fucking figure it out and last a while
True.
longer.
True.
So like, hats off to you taking that step as a
Yeah.
young guy and trying to
And trying to
figure
figure
fuck
it
with
out.
that for
I appreciate
your
that.
partners. Like that is an evolved
That's-
place
yeah.
to start from.
Thanks.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
You listening? And then I start naming them. yeah.
Oh man.
So you do like writing, though.
Yes, I'm a writer. I'm a stand-up comic. I write for TV, and then I started as like a freelance cultural writer for the AV Club and Vulture, Variety, a bunch of places. And now I mostly do like celebrity interviews for Elle and Cosmo and stuff. So
And you have a hit podcast.
yes, and I have a podcast, TV I Say with Ashley Ray, where I talk about television because that's my first love. TV writing, watching TV. Yeah.
Awesome. And I checked out your episode of Great Moments in Weed History where you did a cross podcast with those guys.
Yeah.
Shout out Bean and Abdullah, good friends of ours.
Love them.
Good friends of the pod.
Much.
Love those guys. And it was so great because the rundown you did of the greatest moments in TV weed history was so illuminating because so many of them were like, you know, I think there were a couple where I was like, oh yeah, that's the obvious one. But then there were a few like deep cuts.
Yeah.
It was like your knowledge is like.
Yeah. And
you
like
know.
they brought so much history to it. And I think people don't kind of realize TV weed history is pretty interesting. Obviously, stoners, we love television. It's one of our favorite things.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some pretty interesting ways that like it has shaped TV and how cultural norms are accepted. You know, I think Freaks and Geeks was like one of the big ones we talked about where people didn't realize it. One of the reasons it got canceled was because they had an episode where people smoked weed and like the teenagers nothing bad happens to them. They just like have a good time smoking weed, and parents freaked out. They were just like sending in letters like, oh my gosh, this is so inappropriate. I can't believe this. What next? You're sending our kids to hell. And that was enough for like Fox to go, yeah, we can't keep airing this. And
That's so fucking crazy because our 420 guest this year was Topher Grace, and he came on to talk about how the That 70s Show is about to get its like revival and everything. And we were talking about how that 90s show, we were talking about how that smoking circle on that 70s show was like an iconic piece of like TV history.
Yeah.
So the idea that Freaks and Geeks got knocked because of it is bananas.
Yeah, it's bananas. And they were the ones who like pushed that door down and like suffered. So that shows like that 70s show could be like, oh, let's show kids smoking pot and having fun. Like it can just be fun.
Yeah.
And that was the last ever episode of Freaks and Geeks, you said.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It was, I think they aired maybe one more.
Whoa.
And then got like all of the things. And as soon as there was backlash, they were like, cancel the show. So
A show with Seth Rogen on TV about weed
about
smoking?
weed? What?
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
You couldn't do that today.
Well, whenever we talk about weed movies on here, I always like citing one that I don't think people talk about enough in the weed canon, which is 9 to 5.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
Do you know that movie with Dolly Parton?
Yeah.
I've never seen it until Mary Jane was like, you should watch this. And it's fucking dynamite.
It's 9 to 5.
yeah, it's just so funny that it gets forgotten about when it's sort of like in the bigger picture of like a movie about, you know, women dealing with a toxic boss. But like the whole thing happens because they smoke that joint of Maui Wowie together that Lily Tomlin confiscates from her kid. And I was,
I guess I've never considered that a stoner movie, and it absolutely counts.
I think so. Yeah. Thanks.
The catalyst is weed. Wow.
Yep. I just wanted to notch
which
my own.
Also feminism then.
Right.
Because there's so little like women smoking weed in like movie and TV. That's what I'm always looking for.
Yeah.
It's like, when do we get to see ladies be cool stoners?
That was another one that you cited as well, was Insecure. When
Issa Rae smokes weed at the end of, I think, season 4. The second to last season, but she smokes weed like on her back porch, and it's the first time you realize like, oh my god, Issa Rae smokes, or Issa D in the show smokes weed. We don't know that Issa Rae does, but
she does.
Like she does.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, oh, Issa D like smokes weed, and then from then on they actually use it as a plot point. You see like the female friends, they have like a sleepover where they all smoke pot together. It brings them together. It's like never, you know, like a bad thing. It's never like, oh, she needs this for anxiety or like that. It's just chill. It's whatever. It's in the background. So, you know, that's what I like to see about women smoking weed instead of, I don't know. I feel like there always has to be some like mental health reason behind it, where it's like this character starts smoking weed because she's so depressed from blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And it's like, it could be just because she likes it.
It has to be justified. It's so crazy. I know you do script breakdowns and stuff for people as well, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever get scripts where there's some weed element that you feel is just like totally fucking egregious and or like greatly represented? Like, what does that look like?
I've read a lot of, like, I do feel like younger modern writers, because we've grown up with weed, like we understand it in a way that isn't scary or kind of like, I don't know. I think there's this generation where they think having weed is inherently interesting, or like just if you have weed, it's like, oh, this is counterculture no matter what, or just alternative. And our generation is like, no, that's not, a character smoking weed doesn't make me go, oh, this person's interesting. It's just like, okay, they're smoking weed. So I think a lot of the scripts I see from younger people, yeah, they get that, and they're using weed in their scripts in a way, just more interesting way that feels realistic, and is less like kind of corny and funny, like Dude, Where's My Car-esque, or right. Harold and Kumar, and is more like, I don't know, following the tradition of stuff like Pineapple Express and Superbad, where it's like, oh, this is like a way weed brought people together, or like helped the foundation of a friend group, or Do you like weed as a main character, or do you find that to be wildly uninteresting? And I'm happy to share my opinion too, but I'd like to hear your opinion first.
I think it's a twofold answer for me.
Yeah.
I think everybody above our generation finds it to be, they think it is a main character.
Yes.
And it's not.
It's not.
And everybody in our generations and beyond is just like, oh no, this is a part of life. I'm the main character.
Yeah.
And they can't, and the people, like what I'm really referencing is we've tried to pitch a bunch of shows, and weed is a thing that the person is smoking in it, and they're like, well, we can't sell ads or something. And it's like, it's straight up not about the fucking weed, you dumb bitch. Like, and that's how I feel about it.
Oh yeah. Cause I have that in so many scripts where it's like, as they do this, they're smoking weed, or, they have a volcano, whatever. And they'll be like, well, what is like the use, like what is the reason for weed in the scene? Is that why they act weird? And I'm like, no, they don't act weird, they're stoners. It's more like the Broad City version of it. And I think Broad City is the best show that's kind of walked that line of using weed as a main character, but then also just using it as a thing that the people use. And I also look at like High Maintenance as a great thing where weed is a main character, but it's also just a thing people use. I think you kind of have to like walk the line if you really want to be an interesting stoner comedy, if you're trying to like make a statement on weed. But I don't think all shows that use weed are trying to make a statement about weed, I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, because I do think it can get silly. Like, what is it? Time Traveling Bong.
I never saw it. Is it great?
I mean, I like it.
Great.
But I think it never really like picked up because it is one of those silly things where the whole thing is just weed is the main character. It's literally them just trying to find magic strains of weed that help them time travel with the help of a magic bong. Nothing more to it, It's silly.
Yeah.
And I like it because I'm into that kind of silly humor, but I think a lot of people thought it would be more political and about these like things in history, because they do go back to like slavery and like I think people thought, oh, it's gonna be like Broad City and make these broader points, and it's just like, no, it's just about magic weed that helps you time travel. And then they go back to dinosaur age and have to smoke dinosaur weed. Like that's
I think one of the things that I see with the evolution, because I was born several years before Mike, and I used to work at High Times, like when weed was still illegal. And I used to work with Bean at High Times. And so like the voices behind like the weed stuff that was coming out had to necessarily be like pro-pot propaganda. And that was kind of it. That was all there was room for, because everyone was just trying to make a big fucking point.
Yeah.
And then for someone who was born in the 80s or the 90s, that's not as much the deal. It's more like, okay, well, let's calm the fuck down. Like things are a little different now. You don't need to be yelling all the time.
Yeah.
Old man with a ponytail. But I do like, I feel like I do straddle that divide a little bit, because, I've seen both sides, and I do like have some like a love in my heart for like the old Cheech and Chong stoner vibes, of course. But I also, when High Maintenance happened, that was like the most thrilling fucking thing in the world, to be like, whoa, weed is just like part of the story, but it's actually about the people? What?
Oh, whoa. and how weed can bring these people together.
What?
It truly was just the first high art, high TV. It's, yeah. I think
puts the high in highbrow.
And highbrow,
right?
is what we said.
Yeah.
I think, it's one of those shows that all stoners look at and go, that's the one that changed the game.
Yeah.
And now I think a lot of the shows that are out now that are dealing with weed, I think are doing some pretty interesting things.
Yeah, can you talk about that? Because I wanted to, you talked about the great moments that have happened, but like,
Yeah.
what's the future look like?
That is a great question.
Yeah.
That I should have prepared for.
Well, I can tell you what I hate, and maybe that'll help
and
you
and that will...
be like, actually, this is good.
Yes.
Okay. Because I hate the weed TV shows that have rolled out in the past handful of years. Let me asterisk that with, I like when my friends get paid. I like when my friends get jobs. I wish those shows were better so that they got paid for more than one season.
Yes.
That's how I'll say that.
Yeah.
Because that Netflix show that Chris Redd and Betsy Sidaro was on was a piece of fucking
which
trash
one was
by
that
Chuck
with,
Lorre.
Kathy Bates?
Disjointed?
Yes, Disjointed.
Oh, yeah, that was horrible.
Fucking horrible.
Yeah.
We talked about that one a bit on the pod.
Yeah.
Did you?
On that episode. Yeah, but horrible.
kind of embarrassing, right?
Yeah.
Like, just fucking, ugh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Missed.
I think Chopped 420 was abysmal. I don't like... I don't...
Did you do Cooking with Cannabis on Netflix?
I hated that piece of shit too. It was awful.
Also did not enjoy.
Wow.
No, you
I
loved.
liked Cooking with Cannabis. I mean, I don't... Any edible show, they always, I feel like, are so... They try to be so safe. They're like, oh no, we don't want to get everyone too high. Whoa.
Right.
And I'm just like, yeah, you do.
Yeah,
Like,
you
what
do.
Yeah, I'm always like, what do you do? Cook with the cannabis, And I'm always like, you could put more cannabis in that. So I never really enjoy those shows because I'm like, they aren't for real stoners. They're for people who are like, whoa, I didn't know you could do elevated things with cannabis like that. So
Yeah.
I feel like, I'm not the audience.
But I also think that one of the reasons I say abysmal, and I do mean abysmal, I want to double down on it,
my God.
is because it's like it's not sustainable as a season of anything. It's an episode of Chopped. It's not a season of a new version of Chopped or anything else. Like, if I want to watch food being cooked by amazing chefs and eaten by hot people, I already have that. I don't need to watch a weed version of that for 10 episodes instead.
True.
So I'm looking for weed to be that side, like that, not that main character in it. I want to see that chef smoking a joint while he's cooking and have it be about that chef. I want to see them being able to use it to infuse food, but it's not about like how high you're going to get from this taco or anything. Like, you know what I mean? I want it to be like a side quest, not the main quest. I think.
I can understand that. It gets repetitive. It is really like, okay, how many times are you going to just like cook a weed plant into a tortilla and call it like, fancy?
You're right.
Yeah.
It's like you can only infuse so many oils, and we all are aware of this. So that's fair.
That. So what's good? Now that I've
Yes.
gotten all the bad
So
stuff
that's
off my
what's
chest.
bad. We've gone through
Got
what's
it.
bad.
Okay.
Yes. I think the best stoner comedy out right now is Southside on HBO Max. Weed definitely, I would say, isn't a main character. It can be in some episodes, though. I'd say, like you said, it's a side quest. Like, there are times when they like are accidentally like locked in a basement working on a sci-fi script, and they're just like, they hotbox it and end up so stoned they're like writing insane shit and like floating into space.
Hilarious.
And then it also, still has like down to earth moments. It's this incredible ensemble about people on the south side of Chicago. It started on Comedy Central, moved to HBO Max. The third season just came out like 2 weeks ago, early December. So it's I think the smartest one. Like, most episodes characters are like smoking blunts. I also feel like
maybe that's Will Miles. Hold on 1 second.
Is that what we're yeah. I also feel like they smoke weed the way people actually smoke weed.
That's awesome.
Like, yeah, it's like casual blunt smoking, and it's never like, oh no, they smoke a blunt and then they get wacky. It's like, no, they're just smoking a blunt at a party. And then other things get wacky.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
Have
I have
not
actually
watched.
not seen it either. Have you?
Nope.
No?
Oh,
Okay, bet.
Yeah,
I would like to watch
I'd
it.
say it's a must watch. It's on my best of the year list. It was a late coming out, but it made it just under the wire. But it was definitely on my list the year before. You got 3 whole seasons to watch. It is so funny. And yeah, probably the best stoner comedy out right now. I also really like This Fool on Hulu with Chris Estrada.
Yeah.
There is some light weed references there, so I think it counts.
Yep.
But definitely weed is not like a major like player in it.
And as far that's like a whole lot of LA locals, right? Like
Yes,
that is
so
giving
many
people
LA
jobs.
locals. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So many of our friends I know for sure are buying weed with the money they make from that show.
Fuck yes, that's the best part.
And
Like,
that's
when they were making High Maintenance, they were just employing the entire New York theater
New York
community.
theater, yeah.
New York theater and comedy. And I was like, just seeing my fucking friends.
yeah.
I was like, they're getting paid. They're doing this fucking cool ass show. And
Ah.
I feel like that's This Fool for LA. I'm not as connected here in LA, but it's
Yeah,
like, it must
yeah.
be like, hey, look at all my friends.
I feel
It's
yeah,
dope.
LA needs that where you're just
Mhm.
like, wow, everyone's in this. There it is.
Was
Yeah.
was the bear like that for you at all, being from Chicago? Were you like
Oh.
seeing your friends on there, or how do you feel about the bear?
I also
think,
lived in Chicago. We can talk.
Yeah, I think a lot of Chicagoans were kind of disappointed that the Bear didn't use a lot of local Chicago
It
actors.
wasn't okay. I didn't know that.
They used. There were a few, like, you know, I want to say 3 or 4, but no, like none in the main roles. Like no one really who works in the restaurant. I think it was like one of the people who plays one of the like Italian gang members was a
Mhm.
Chicago theater actor, and like pretty much no one else is. And so people were kind of like, you know, Chicago's a huge theater city. Like shows like Empire, Chicago Med, all those shows. I see my friends in them all the time.
There's one with Abby McEnany where she
Work in Progress.
Work in Progress.
So fucking good.
Yes, and Work in Progress. All my friends
Fuck,
are in
that
that.
show is so
Yeah,
good.
I watch like there's like the brunch party episode, and
Yeah.
literally I was like, oh, there's my friend there, and my friend. Like they really employed the queer people in those neighborhoods. The Bear, I think people were kind of disappointed because they didn't use people from River North or even use an accurate depiction of what River North is like. In the show, it's very gritty, and like they yell about like a Sweet Green opening, and they're like, oh, there goes the neighborhood, a Sweet Green opening in River North. There's been a Sweet Green in River North for like, it probably was the first one that ever opened, honestly. Like River North is where the first Crate and Barrel ever opened. It's been gentrified since the 1960s. Like the
so
way
funny.
they tried to portray it, I think a lot of people kind of just were like, this is not real Chicago. It's definitely a New York take on Chicago.
That's fucking
So-
weird to get Chicago that wrong. I'm from Newfoundland, which is like a very remote, weird part of Canada off
Yeah.
the East Coast, and everyone gets Newfoundland wrong always.
It kinda
Nobody's
fair,
ever.
sorry.
Yeah, it's super fucking like remote and weird. It's a weird accent, like. But they're occasionally like the shipping news was made there, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's Newfoundland going to Hollywood." The whole thing just felt like if you're from there,
Yeah.
you know, it's not right. But to get Chicago that fucking wrong
Yeah.
with that stable of talent and like
With-
all of
yeah.
those directors and comedians coming
And
out of
it's
there, that's
so
weird.
easy to just send one person to Chicago and be like, it's like this. Like, I don't, they,
Make one phone call.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What's
you
up,
just
Chicago?
take the red line around.
yeah, like literally there were like shots of the train that didn't make sense, ways people walk that it's like you'd never drive this way, which, you know, small stuff. But then some of the language they used, it was very New York, the way they talked about traffic. At one point, the restaurant gets like a C rating.
Because of a
And-
cigarette case. Is that the one with the...
Yeah, like the
Like the
cigarette. They have a
whatever
bunch of
things,
things
yeah.
and they get a C rating. But Chicago doesn't do that. Like they only have pass fail.
Oh,
So like you're never going to see a restaurant in Chicago that has a grade. So everyone that I know from there was like, what is that a good grade? Like I was like, that seems fair. Like
Mhm.
I'd go to a restaurant with a C. What does that
Totally.
mean?
Yeah.
And New Yorkers were like, oh yeah, oh my goodness. And we were like, you just get a pass fail. Like they could have just done a pass fail because it gets put in the newspaper like this restaurant failed, and they could have used that. And it's like, you know, why change it except to make it more understandable to like an East Coast New York audience.
Yeah. I think also, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but I do think she got snubbed for a
Oh,
Golden
Io,
Globe.
yes,
Io.
yes,
I
yes.
can't believe she didn't get
Absolutely.
a nom
Absolutely.
for the Golden Globes.
And it seemed like it was going to happen. She got the nom, I believe, for definitely the Spirit Independent Award. She got the Critic nom. So I thought for sure she was getting a Golden Globe nom.
Crazy.
Crazy. I can't say that that Wednesday deserved it because I didn't watch it. I can't say the flight attendant deserved it because I did watch it.
Even season 2?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you
Okay.
watched both seasons?
I watched both seasons.
Oh man,
Okay.
I watched the
am
first one. And,
not-
oh.
I'm not a flight attendant fan. I mean,
Mm-mm.
I guess the second season was better than the first.
Okay.
I guess maybe. I truly like. It's one of those shows that just happened to me. Like I can't remember detail. You know, when you watch that and you're like, it was happening.
Do you think that's performance related or script related or both? Both, right?
It just, yeah.
Because Haley Cuoco to me is, I don't really love talking shit about actors, but
No, yeah.
but
Everyone's doing their best.
right. Yeah, I'm an actor. Like I trained as an
Yeah.
actor and worked as an actor for a long ass time, so I don't like being like that person's bad at their job. But there's something about her characteristically that I think has such broad appeal that also makes her to me very forgettable.
Yeah.
But it's why she's in everything, right? Like
Exactly.
people
Because
are
she's
like,
just,
yeah.
you know, she's the quirky blonde who like drinks too much and is silly. And in that show, I like the ensemble around her more than I like her. So,
Mhm.
but you know, I think it should have.
What did Mark says? Amen to the
Yeah.
Haley Cuoco thing, Mark.
Yeah.
Amen. All right,
Yeah.
producer Mark says.
But yeah, Io should have gotten that nomination.
Yeah.
Her performance was my favorite part of The Bear. It was the best part, my favorite part. Obviously, Jeremy Allen, I mean, come on.
He's yeah.
Who?
Come on.
Who?
I just saw another
You
picture of
know.
him in a t-shirt and I was
And I was like,
come on.
T-shirts were made for that man's body. Okay. And I've loved him since Shameless. So for me, this is like, finally, he is getting his attention. Like, I have loved him since he was Lip. And it's just, finally. So I knew he was going to be good. That's what made me want to watch. And then Io's performance was what made me go, oh, this is a really special show that I can't wait to like watch for seasons. So yeah, and it got so many awards that it's just really shocking. But hey, you know, the Golden Globes were gone because they were so racist. So
Is that right?
isn't that what happened? Everybody was like, the Golden Globes, no diversity. So then they like didn't do it, and then now it's
Whoa.
back.
Got it.
Yeah.
And they're like, huh?
Yeah, they're like, basically the
People need stuff, right?
yeah, the diversity that they nominated was just Abbott Elementary. That's it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark
Yeah.
says 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like Abbott Elementary got all the nominations and they were like, isn't that enough? Isn't that
We did that. We did
it.
the thing.
That's a show with the black people. We did it.
I'm just picturing an old white man with his feet on his desk and his hands behind his head for the rest of the year. Like,
Yeah.
kind of nailed this.
Uh,
Yeah, nailed it. We did it. The black show. We got it. We got it.
Golly.
Can I ask you about your writing a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you really enjoying writing about right now? And like when you identify something that you're inspired by to write about, what do you
Yeah.
like? How does that work for you? Are you like, it's a screenplay or how does it go
It
for
kind
you?
of, I usually start TV first.
Mhm.
Because that's the medium I love the most. And I usually, like, a lot of times I start with stuff from my stand-up. Like, I have a lot of things that are just about my life, my mom, that's what I joke about, you know, how I grew up. And then outside of that, I'll just have weird ideas.
Mhm.
Just things I've always wanted to see on TV. Like, I started working on an adult animated show about these black witches who live in Texas and are forced to travel through time to save one of their daughters. And it's more, I don't know, it's like a black stoner Rick and Morty, basically, with like older women.
Fucking A.
Yeah. And so like I'll just like kind of think of weird things like that where I'm like, what if I did, you know, space monster characters based on my aunt and mom or something? And just kind of start writing from there. And I just kind of like will think of scenes until I actually think of a real story or something that makes sense. But I got my start in TV writing for Adult Swim with the show Alabama Jackson. So I think comedy is kind of always my basis. I'm always like, oh, that's a funny thing. What could I turn that into? And I don't know. I guess some people's approach is like, what's a topic I want to address in the world?
Right.
Or, you know, something I want to give my opinion on. And I'm just like, that's...
Well, I just read so much of Twitter, like writer Twitter, is like all of the questions about like, how do I do the thing that you're doing? Tell me how you do the thing you're doing so that I can also do the thing that you're doing. And obviously your Twitter is so fucking lit and you've got, such a great, like never arrogant, but always confident, very fucking solid, funny take on things. I
think
feel
a lot
like
of people would say arrogant. It's okay. It's okay.
I fucking love the fact that you you got into it with Glee recently, the guy from Glee, and he was just like,
that one was funny because I
Yeah.
didn't notice it until like a day later. It was like it happened, and then nobody. Usually, when that happens, someone is like, "Ashley, this famous person is mad at you on Twitter and saying this." Nobody cared that the guy from Glee was like adding me. No one was like, "Yo, did you see this?" A full 24 hours passed. I opened my Twitter and I'm like, "What is? Oh." It was like on one of like Pop Base or something, one of those like pop entertainment Twitter sites. And I was just like, oh, who is he quote tweeting? And then I was like, oh, he's quote tweeting me. I was like, oh, this is me. Oh my gosh. He's like being all sassy with me. He was like, and don't make me say it again. And I was like,
trash emoji.
I was like, guess what? I'm gonna watch that Glee documentary even harder.
Hell yeah. Oh,
Even harder.
It was very funny. You know, and it's all like I think you're one of the 3 accounts that I log onto Twitter to read nowadays because everything.
Can I guess the other 2?
Yeah.
Ashley Ray,
Uh-huh.
Roxanne Gay.
Uh-huh.
Gosh, what would be the third?
Michael Che.
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Correct.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ray, Gay, and Che.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
All
who
you need.
that's my trifecta right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Sorry, I just totally lost my train of thought. Writer Twitter wanting to know how you do your job and then saying, tell me also how you do that so I
Yeah.
could do it myself. Must come at you all the time.
Yeah, I think what actually the thing I get most is how do you do what you do and smoke so much weed at
Uh-huh.
the same time? That's the one that people are like, how do you do and manage to smoke so much weed? And I'm like, well, because I've been doing it a long time, smoking weed, also writing.
Uh-huh.
That's a skill I've developed since high school. So it's, not a struggle to outline or kind of know what story I want to tell. But also I've been smoking weed since high school. So now I can smoke through the day and it's not like I'm getting stoned out of my mind. It's like, oh, this is like, enough to smoke where I'm going to have an appetite to eat lunch and take a break and watch Below Deck when I'm trying to finish chapters of a book or something.
Yeah.
A show which I only know about from following you.
Yeah. Oh God, I love Below Deck.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So people want to, they're like, are they sort of like rude about it? Like, you smoke so much fucking weed, it seems impossible that you do what you do? Or they just want to
Sometimes.
be you?
Some people are like, I want to achieve that. Like, what do you smoke during the day? Blah, blah, blah. And other people are kind of just like, why? Like, why live this way? Like, I guess those people are like my doctors and therapists. They're like,
Sure.
how much do you smoke a day? And you could not do that, right? And I'm like, why try it? Why risk it?
Seems
Yeah.
working out.
It's therapy.
Yeah,
Or therapeutic.
What if I stop and then
Well,
And then
it's
we
like,
don't know.
Like, you don't tell Super Mario to stop eating mushrooms and getting bigger.
exactly?
Stop it. If he had a bunch of mushrooms around him and he's like, I'm not going to not be big all the time. What are you talking
What are
about?
you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, I also like the idea. It was Reggie Watts who said it once, that he uses weed as resistance training for his brain.
I love that.
And, it actually makes you fucking smarter because you have to think into all
Yeah.
of the corners before you're actually going to put out whatever it is that you're going to put out.
yeah.
So it just gives you a more informed take on your own brain, basically.
Yeah.
You know?
He's so smart. And that's why I like to call him my husband, Reggie Watts.
Correct.
And-
You heard it here first.
Yeah. He's finding out right now, too.
Yeah. What's up, Reggie?
But it's like, yeah, I don't know, because people, did you ever time when you didn't smoke weed? And in high school, I didn't smoke weed really because I was a nerd and I was really focused on getting into college. And I did smoke weed in middle school. So I was very like, oh, in high school, I have to stop, focus on getting into a good college, get good grades, don't really smoke weed. And it wasn't until I got into college that I was like, okay, now I can smoke weed again. Let's do it. And when I stopped, I was such a like uptight, anxious, competitive asshole, I guess is a word I'd way to describe it. It's just, I couldn't like slow down. It was like I always had to be doing things. I had to be like just very type A, organize this, do this, like schedule, blah, blah, blah. And smoking weed was a way for me to slow down and be like, oh, this is what matters. This is what doesn't matter. This is what I'm doing for me. This is what I'm doing for other people. Like, oh, okay. Now I see it. So yeah, I think, as a writer, day to day as an adult, that's like a great quality to have. So thank you, weed.
Yeah. Thank you, weed.
Do you find that it also keeps you tied to your desk or wherever you're writing? Because
Yeah.
right? For real, for real.
Yes. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yes. Yeah, like when I know I have like, long essays or so much to write, if I really love those like Pacific Stone pre-roll packs with like 14 joints because I can just sit there and chain smoke them and write. And if I know that I'm not gonna move.
Yeah, because if you go check the fridge once,
Yeah.
you're gonna check your phone.
Yeah.
Check the
You're gonna
phone.
fucking get some water. Like
Yeah.
it's over. You gotta have. What's your desk? Do you write at a desk?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so what's
Oh,
your
yeah.
desk setup? I want to be
yeah.
able to picture this.
What were you gonna say? You write in bed or something?
Yeah, laying on
some
your stomach with
people-
a journal.
I did recently write a piece in bed, and I was very proud of finishing.
I used to write in bed when I lived in like a dorm or like when I had a roommate and I didn't have like a living room space. I would write in bed, and now I have a big desk, 3 screens. I have 2 laptops, one that is for like podcast stuff and recording, and it's complicated. And then my main one that's like my personal writing stuff done. And then I have a monitor. Then I have like a TV that's mounted on the wall that I can sometimes use as a screen. But since I write about TV so much, I'm usually like watching that and trying to write stuff.
Whoa.
Yeah, sometimes I
That's
like
awesome.
on one of my computers will have like something playing, and then on the TV I'm like, okay, I was watching this, and then I can like kind of go back and forth.
Man, your brain must be just so lit up. I would love to see like a fucking thing strapped onto your head when
It's
you're
just
doing
like
that.
I just like keep it very organized by tab. Like I'm like, oh, this is like the Substack stuff I have to do today. This is the Patreon stuff. This is like what I have to tweet. This is, what I have to write about over here. And then on the desk, I have one of those like Apple keyboards so I can have it on my lap, which leaves plenty of space for an ashtray. I have my little like joint holder. I like to do joints. That's how I smoke throughout the day. That's
Mhm.
my preferred method. Everything else just it takes too much time. It's too messy. Joints, I'd pick them up, keep it going.
How many cups for liquids?
Okay, so usually a water, a carbonated water, something flavored, a little fun treat, coffee in the morning,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then in the afternoon I'm usually switching to Diet Dr. Pepper.
Ooh, so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and then maybe an iced coffee. If I get a lot of work done, I'll treat myself. I'll do a smoothie from somewhere.
Yeah.
And does that comprise the entirety of your desk, or is there a snack situation as well?
Oh, there's a snack situation. I
Okay.
eat at my desk. I do. Yeah, everything's happening.
You
at the
sounded so
desk.
aggressive.
I just
I mean,
Were you worried?
So in the midst of all this, all of that is also covered in fruit by the foot wrappers
Right.
everywhere. Just fruit by the foot wrappers everywhere.
I'm picturing like one of those 1980s action movie screens with the security guard where it's all those TV channels and the desk and like the whole
yeah, or like the
Yeah.
Russian spy at the begining of any Bond movie.
Yeah,
and
and
the
then-
hacker with all of the fucking.
But yeah, it's just me like typing about weed and different things and like watching TV. I use like the way I mostly smoke now is I do cones. So I have at the last Emerald Cup, some company gave me a box of 1,000 cones, which surprisingly, I'm halfway through.
Congrats.
Fuck yes.
Thank you. I do think that's impressive.
Yeah.
And I do cones, so I do a 6-shooter that like does 6 at a time, and so like I have that at my desk. So I'm just reloading, and doing it down throughout the day.
Did you just go to the Emerald Cup, or you judged the Emerald Cup?
I was a guest for this last one, and I'm a judge for the next one.
Oh,
yeah.
fucking
Nice.
That's gonna be
I'm-
so great.
I'm so excited.
Do you know the category yet?
Cartridges.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm gonna be stoned to the bone.
Heck yeah.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be really fun.
I'm so glad to talk about your rolling because before you and I met, I had heard of you a lot. I checked out your IG, I checked out your Twitter, but I was like, I'm just going to sit in the cut until we meet. But I have seen, this is going to be so weird, Ashley. So just like strap in.
Yeah.
But like I remember seeing photos first of these beautiful joints that you know how to roll with
Oh,
like
yeah.
a gold fucking bottom to it, and then I would see a ring that you would be able to rock that would fit your joint into the ring
Yeah.
like a fucking Marvel superhero. And then I remember at that exact same time when I was like, she seems so cool, I think you were also moving into a new place and you were showing like your kitchen aesthetic on lock and like all of these like beautiful, like your fashion and your like you're so aesthetically pleasing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You. weed aesthetic is my favorite thing. I think it's because growing up, like I said, I got into weed as like a middle schooler, which is not when there was great weed decor if you went to head shops or like pot shops. It was always corduroy, tie-dye, Grateful Dead. It was just all the hippie stuff had to smell like incense and have the same look. And it was just, can't there be more than this?
Get out of here with your black velvet poster.
Oh, the black velvet poster, like a rolling tray that's just Bob Marley. Just that was all there was. And you make do, you would try to find like the okayest looking bowl or something or bong. And finally, like getting older, I was like, oh, like Etsy, there's probably people who are like me and want classy weed stuff. And I started finding all these shops and like stores. Babe is a really great company who I love. Babe Rolling Papers. I feel like there's a burning Babe Rolling Papers.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
Burning Babe Rolling Papers. That's who I kind of started with because they have these like ring things that I loved. And they would like put your birthstone and different stuff in it. And they had like patterned papers, which I was always wanted to try, but I had always seen them at a head shop and I was like, oh, those are toxic. I was like, I'm not about to smoke ink. Like, come on. But these are like all natural vegetable dye. And I was like, oh, wow, it's 2022. We really have all the answers these days.
That's it's so nice to see some stuff that's not just like, because I really did, like, the first time I ever really got high was like on a blowtorch in a basement with a bunch of bros. And it was hot knives. And like at that time as a young girl, I just didn't feel like there was that much out there for me in the weed culture. And there's so much now. If you're like
a girl and you want to just be cute and be a pothead,
I just want to be fucking cute.
You can. It's so
you can be
easy
so
now.
Cute now.
And like back in my day, it was like you had to carry around some heavy thing that was covered in corduroy or black velvet.
Yeah.
And it was like smell proof and like would hide your bong and you'd like try to shove weed in it and
fuck.
No aesthetic. And so now I try to celebrate it. Like my mom is staying with me and she came into my place and she was like, you have so much weed stuff. This is like a store. Like she's just like, you have like all these fancy weed bongs. Like you can like they turn perfume bottles into bongs now. You can it's all out there. Like you can be the prettiest stoner in the world.
Yep.
There's no excuse anymore.
My Bud Vase, shout out to my Bud Vase, Doreen. She's been doing it for a while now.
Antique bong.
Yep.
Yeah.
So sweet. Elevate Jane too is like the cutest.
Yeah, the cutest.
Fucking cutest stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably wrap soon, but
we got to do a little cream and a little BOTW.
Yeah, so we have a section. And then I have one final question for you. But we have a segment called Creamed Corner, where we just talk about food that made us horny this week or recently. And I do know you just went to Columbia, and
yes,
I wanted to. Okay, can you talk? I mean, you don't have to talk about that.
No,
but
I'm ready to talk about
good.
that. Absolutely,
all right,
please.
Yeah. Yes. Tell us everything.
Okay. Yeah. I mean. Where to begin? Colombia, amazing food and just it's so affordable. You can go to like 5-star restaurants. I went to this what is it, like Michelin star restaurant in Bogota that had we did like a 10-course like tasting menu of things from different natural resources around in Colombia. Which was good. But my favorite meal, the one that I have been thinking about every day since I got back, was from this Peruvian restaurant. And it was like lomo saltado, but it had like a mashed yuca under it. And it was like the most flavorful meat, like steak that I have ever. Yeah, like I'm getting a thumbs up. Like just the best potatoes. And then like we got this I think it's like cilantro rice, but not like chipotle cilantro. It's like, how is there this much flavor in this rice? Like I don't even like rice. And I was like, oh, this is the best rice I've ever had. Like until they took the plate away, I was like, I need to remember this. I took a picture of it just because I was like, this is the best rice I've ever had. And then it had like this amazing grilled chicken on top. I don't know, is the way that I don't know what kind of the like grilled in a stone thing, so it's like really crispy and like dark. So good.
Fuck yes.
So Peruvian food, I've been trying to find a place as good out here in LA, not having much luck.
the only Peruvian restaurant I know is pretty fancy. It's on Melrose. It's called Rosaline, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And they've got a mad good seafood paella there, but and I think they're Peruvian.
It is.
Yes.
I tried that one. It was pretty good, actually. And then I tried a place, Rosti, but they like don't do the yucca. They put it on potatoes, like French fries.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they do. I'm like, no.
Fuck. Well, that
What's the
sounds
spice
amazing.
level for Peruvian food and Colombian food?
Not spicy at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
they do not like spicy in Peru or Colombia. Like when we went to the Peruvian place, they were like, be careful because this is spicy. And then it wasn't. And everywhere in Colombia, they were like, this ají is so spicy. Like, be careful. This meal is so spicy. And then it's just sweet. Like, it's just sweet. Like, every time they were like, oh, it's spicy, I would just eat it. Like, this is the sweetest thing I've ever eaten. Even their savory foods were, like, sweeter rather than spicy. And anything with real heat, they were like, no. Like, I tried to get a spicy margarita so many times, and they would just, like, put tahini on the rim. And I was like, no, put a jalapeno in it. And they were just like, are you crazy? They're like, it'll be too hot. I was like, trust me. I want real spice in this. So it was like hard to find real hot sauce anywhere.
Oh,
they do not like spicy food, which kind of surprised me. So next time I go, I'm bringing my own hot sauce, and then I think I'll have a great time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. I only asked because I just got a hot sauce it's a ghost pepper hot sauce.
Ooh.
And I'm like halfway through the bottle, and it makes me feel awful the next day, but in the moment, so satisfying.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's
Okay.
yeah. There was one restaurant where we found hot sauce and we stole it.
Yoink.
No, straight. We were just like, this is the first time we've seen real hot sauce here that's actually spicy. And I was like, I'm putting it in my fanny pack. I don't care. I was like, I'm taking it back.
Hell yeah. Have you been to that
Yeah.
hot sauce place in the farmer's market? There's a hot sauce store. I just went in there the other day,
Ooh.
and they've got a million different hot sauces from around the
Yes.
globe, but a lot of them are named things like wet fart or like
Yeah.
help my asshole's on fire or
On
whatever.
fire. Yeah, like the names are not appeasing.
No.
Appealing.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I don't want
Mm-mm.
this.
Yeah. How do you ask it to be passed across the table?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please hand me the
The
burning
ass
rectum.
burner. Yeah.
Oh, this
Like-
one?
Oh, yeah.
This?
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
The a-hole burner? Like, no, thank you.
Man. Well, your trip to Colombia looked amazing. I know
It-
you like smoked great weed and just had a
I
good
did
time there.
eventually smoke great weed. That was hard. It was difficult to find good weed there. I will say that. I didn't really use my resources well, which is mostly being a girl on a dating app who could say, I want free weed. That's how I usually do it. Usually always works.
That's so
Um,
smart.
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Y'all.
Yeah. You just go, hey, I'm a girl. I'm in town. I want weed. And people do it. It's, yeah.
Fuck yes.
Yeah, but I had some people I knew, so they kind of hooked me up. And then in another place, this guy was selling pipes, and I was like, well, if you're selling pipes, buddy, you got to know where I can get weed. And he was like, just stay here and I'll be back in an hour.
Wow.
And yeah, but it was all kind of dry, not the best. Yeah,
But you did okay.
but I did okay. It was
Awesome.
fine. Yeah.
Well, I have one last question for you, and then we should wrap with
yeah.
Buds of the Week.
Let's do Buds of the Week in a minute.
I would love to know what your predictions are for 2023, both in weed and TV, or either one you want to address, or both
Okay.
together.
Yeah. I think 2023 in television is going to be the year of the volcano. I don't know why. I
Yeah.
feel like we're going to see a heavy presence in a lot of shows with a volcano. I feel it just being some kind of weird trend.
Are you saying this is a double entendre, meaning like Mauna Loa and the vaporizer?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Already with White Lotus, there was a literal volcano.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I think with COVID and people using weed as a plot line, they've been trying to think of like other ways to be like, oh, you can't really have a character like share a joint anymore and stuff like that. And like with and Just Like That coming back where the character smoked weed, I think they're going to be trying to find clever ways like vapes and stuff. So I think we're going to see a lot of alternative vape focused weed smoking in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a prediction I have.
Fucking A.
Would love
Yeah.
to see a script with some period weed use in
Yeah.
it. That would be interesting.
What do you mean period weed use?
When you were talking about for your period.
Oh, for period pain. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
that's
with like weed suppositories and stuff.
weed suppositories.
Or edibles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love that. Just more sort of like, and also just in the background, as you were talking about, like sort of
Yeah.
incidental weed smoking by women or not, or just
Women.
people.
Yeah, just people smoking weed, and it's not something that makes them wild or, you
Mhm.
know, crazy or hard to understand. It's just like, no, they're just a person who's smoking pot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I forgot what else you asked me because I'm stoned, but I forgot what
It was just like trends that you see in weed and or TV, and I think that answers
Yeah.
both as like
I
weed
think-
on
yeah.
TV.
And I think TV wise, we're probably just gonna see a lot of reboots still. I don't know. I
Yeah.
think that's all. There's so many things coming back next year. That 90s show, Clone High, great stoner stuff, but nothing too new.
Yeah.
We're still not getting fresh stuff.
And hopefully some things like Minx find a place to land. I know that was
You
that,
like Minx?
that just
I
happened.
Did you really?
Loved Minx. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was Jake Johnson
Yeah.
and his chest hair, first of all.
You
Jake
think that's why I didn't
Johnson.
get the role? There'd be too much chest hair in that scene between him and I.
Oh yeah.
Is
Oh,
that why they
would be
went
a
with
hair
someone
off.
else? It'd be a hair off.
Yeah, nobody's allowed to have more chest hair than Jake Johnson on set.
Okay.
That's in his contract.
God.
He has a hard. That's everybody in Hollywood knows that. You don't come with more chest hair than the Johnson.
Uh
That's just how it goes.
huh.
But it was a really good show. It was funny
Yeah.
and just it created a really great world where you could like root for these people to run this magazine, and it was fun. And then they just took it from us. It was like the best thing we had to replace Glow. I just
Yeah.
another show taken from us. And
I just learned from your Twitter today because of a post about a hot guy thing of this Jake Johnson was the guy who was like on the new show that you're watching. It was like he was in Dubai. He looked shirtless.
what is
the
Without
show?
Borders?
Love Without Borders, which I hadn't heard about, and I was
Ooh,
like,
so
maybe I should
good.
check that out. If it's
I watched it all in a
hot.
day. It is so
People.
good. Yeah.
Okay, good.
2023 prediction. I'm on
Mhm.
this show.
Okay, good.
Because
you
because
did
I
say you would
want
fly to meet him.
I would do this show. It's basically like they find people in America and they're like, we found your soulmate with this matchmaker. They live somewhere else in the world. You don't know where, but at any time we're going to come to your house, be like, you got to pack up and go. And that's this lady just shows up at your house and she's like, let's go to the airport. It's time for you to meet your soulmate. When they get to the airport, they're like, hey, you're going to Paris or Ghana or Panama City. And when you get there, you'll go to this address, meet the love of your life.
Whoa.
And then they go. And I was like, this is absolutely something I would do. 100% I'd be in. I'd be like, yes, take all my stuff. I'm going to go wherever, maybe fall in love. And they have 90 days to decide if they want to stay with the person, actually get married, or go back home. So,
Okay.
but they like have to quit their jobs and sell all their stuff and like really do it.
Gosh, I hope you are on that
I
show.
fucking can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
And
put
I would
it
just
out.
be like, sorry, I'm not going anywhere where weed isn't legal. So Amsterdam is where the love of my life has to be.
1,000,000%.
Yeah, like that's end of story. Like,
Please invite me to the wedding. I love Amsterdam.
They
love
could be in
Amsterdam.
Canada somewhere, and
could
you
be
know,
in Canada,
maybe-
Montreal.
Yep.
You know, I don't know that my love of my life speaks French, but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, there's a
fine.
whole cool subsection of English
yeah,
speaking
there's other people there.
Montrealers.
There's, yeah.
All
But
right. Well, putting it in the air. You're gonna be in Love Beyond Borders. Love
Without Borders.
Love Without Borders.
Yeah. If you work for the show, if you're out there, please get me on Love Without Borders.
Mark, producer Mark.
Yep. We're
Mark.
gonna
Mark,
yep.
you got that plug?
We're gonna put it in the show notes. We're gonna make sure
Yeah.
all the SEO points
if
to
you
it.
can hit up Bravo.
Our guest after you is actually Mark Burnett, so we'll see what we can do.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So let's do Buds of the Week.
Let's do Buzz of the Week. Buzz of the Week is what we do every week where we shout out a person, place, or thing that we just want our audience to know about, possibly fuck with, possibly follow.
Oh.
Just like get involved with something we think or someone we think is really cool.
Okay.
Do you want to go first or second? We can go and then give you a moment to think
Yeah.
about yours
Give
as
yours
well.
pulled up.
I do have mine.
Go
pulled up.
ahead.
Mine is actually somebody who I just did a show with at Bar Lubitsch. I had done a show with them well before COVID, and we hadn't seen each other. And he's just coming out with some fucking heat stand-up comedy. His name is Matt Kirshen. I love a comedian. I'm not going to do his joke, but I love someone who takes one topic like a sport and then just dissects it for the next 15 fucking minutes. Like you get one joke from me and I'm going to take all the comedy out of it and there will be nothing left on the bone for anyone else. And that's what I saw him do. It's a great new bit. I'm so happy I got to see it before it's on some late night show that he deserves better than, or like whatever it is. So follow him at Matt _Kirshen, Kirshen. And on his Instagram too, he has a ton of jokes, and he's just a really funny dude. I'm glad to reconnect with.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good butt of the week.
good butt of the week.
My butt of the week is someone I just reconnected with in LA. And it was so cool because I had just seen her name on the fucking credits on Hulu for Fleischman is in Trouble.
Oh.
My friend Boo Killebrew, who was a consultant on the show. And so I'm not sure what she did, but then I just ran into her. I went to see Kiki and Herb at the Orpheum, which was just like a New York theater heartsplosion of joy and wonder. What a fucking show. If you don't know Kiki and Herb, go see them anytime you can. But I ran into Boo in the audience and I was like, holy fuck, what are you doing? She's like killing it out here. She's writing, she's consulting. I believe she worked on High Maintenance. We met doing a play when we were acting across from each other. And it was just like such a nice moment also because I feel like it's hard to connect in LA with people. So to see an old friend at a cool show and then just be like, I also just saw your name on TV. Fucking A. So she's at Boo Killebrew on Instagram. She might be private, but I don't know. Give her a request.
Yeah. When does this air? Sorry.
Not this week, next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I don't have their social thing. Can I get my phone?
Yeah,
Sorry.
totally.
Yeah,
of
of
course.
course.
Hang on a sec.
I was like, oh, my social thing.
That's okay. Like while we do that, I am going to also say, as you pull it up, Ashley and I are both working on our first specials right now. So if you do
Yes.
happen to be in Los Angeles while you're listening to this, go check out Ashley's Instagram because she's running her hour before it gets filmed. And I'm so excited to see it because it's going to be, you're filming it in Chicago too, I believe.
We're going to do it in New York.
You're going to do it in New York?
Yeah, going to do it in New York.
Great.
I did a practice round in Chicago. Did one out here in LA at the Elysian. And yeah, now I'm going to do the real thing out in New York. It's just some great material I've had for a few years that I'm excited to get on an album and, just kind of solidify it and then never tell those jokes again. It's one of those
You'll
things.
just tuck them in and put their little nightcaps
where
on.
you're like, those jokes, that time. Yes.
Mhm.
What
that boyfriend or whoever.
Yeah, like that
person.
time. What a period. And so it's been a while in the making and it's been really fun. But my butt of the week, I want to recognize Camille Corbett, who is so funny at The Witty Girl on Instagram and Twitter. She's an LA comedian, TV writer. She's also, most importantly, the creator of Smoke Show, which is like a women's focused pot comedy show. That I've been on. It's so funny. She'll just be like, watch this girl smoke the biggest joint in the world. And it just really talks about like girl stoners and aesthetic and different ways that female stoners use weed. And yeah, so, she's a trailblazer. She's a trailblazer. She's so funny.
Yes.
She also like raps and hosts open mics and is just an amazingly funny stand-up comic. She also directed like a short film that is like entering a bunch of competitions. So go follow her because she's blowing up. So
Fuck yes.
Awesome butt of the week.
Yeah.
And yourself.
and me, yeah, sure.
Let's plug you.
Yeah,
You're our VIB, or you're our very important bud.
Thank you. You can follow me at the Ashley Ray. I have a bunch of shows coming up. If you use the dating app Field, we're hosting a show at the Elysian on December 19th, which has either happened or maybe you didn't miss it. And if you are a Field user, you get in free. So there's going to be some awesome LA talent. We're going to be talking about how weird polyamorous dating in LA is. Should be fun.
Come back and talk about that with us.
Absolutely.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole fucking episode.
Yeah, Field is the dating app for the freaks. So
Hey.
That's it for us for this episode, I think. Follow us on Instagram if it hasn't been flagged. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Well, we might be changing our handle. But email us, wg@weedandgrub.com.
Leave a review for our podcast.
Yeah.
Leave a review for your podcast.
Definitely.
Yes. TV I Say with Ashley Ray. 5
And
stars.
yeah, yeah, rate and review. It helps so much. It helps us get into more people's ears. And
Last plug.
yeah,
Come see us at Sketchfest.
That's right.
End of January, beginning of February. If you happen to live in the San Francisco area, we will be at Sketchfest with a dynamite live show with some fantastic comedians.
yeah, we've got a great fucking lineup, and it's February 5th at 4 p.m. Actually,
There you go.
yeah.
Boom.
I think
Boom.
that's it, right?
Yep. Bye, everyone.
Boom. Bye.